Thank you for watching Truth Talk News. We have another false flag attack, this time in San Bernardino, California, where 3 gunmen dressed in military fatigues and body armor stormed a disability facility and shot up the place, left a bomb there in their wake that the authorities detonated. Still too early to get all the pieces put together here, but it's reminiscent or certainly reeks of a false flag operation. Time will tell. There's such mayhem going on in the world. I mean, we have reports from the Middle East that the Iraqis think the U.S. is in cahoots with the Islamic State. And they are. I mean, clearly we have an administration that is forwarding the goals of ISIS, furthering terrorism. But let's not blame Obama, because it's truly the powers behind the scenes that are inflaming all of these issues. Same thing with our domestic problems. Why is it there is so much attention put on police violence, shootings, like occurred in Chicago, and the Planned Parenthood shooting, and they're all talking about gun control, gun control, gun control. Chicago has tremendous gun control, and it has the most murders and the most gun violence in the entire country. Never talk about the real problems, the root causes of the problems. In this case, the family, the breakdown of the family unit, the lack of morality, the lack of values, the lack of respect for life, the cheapening of life, the desensitization to violence in the media. All of these things are the issues that should be on trial. This is where the public should be voicing their outrage. The black community has been decimated by the social welfare programs. And you're a racist or a bigot if you point this out. The fact that welfare, poverty I should say, in America is at the same level that it was at when these programs began. $4 trillion was spent trying to help the underprivileged and the poor by dumbing down the education system so they really can't, as far as a group, really improve themselves, because the education, even if they get a degree, they don't understand what's going on. There's people out there with degrees that are ignorant. There are people that go to college taking remedial mathematics and reading and English classes in college. Classes that when we were kids, or in my age, was just regular high school curriculum. How can they just keep passing people that fail and reducing the standards? And we have great teachers. Teachers that are frustrated, many of them. I know a couple of teachers myself, and it's just, hey, what are you going to do? You go to, you try to reach the ones that want to be reached and the ones that can be reached. And that's what goes on. There's always going to be kids that flourish, but they're creating an environment not for everyone to flourish like it was at one time. I mean, everybody shouldn't get a trophy just because they participated. This is all this social engineering has brought America to where it is now. And I bought into it most of my life. I mean, I only woke up to this after I realized Obama was a liar, and I voted for him in 2008. And I started looking into all the things and all of these things I discuss here on Truth Talk News. And then I tell you, in these 7 years, I've learned more than I really want to know. In 1903, John D. Rockefeller told the President of the United States he wasn't interested in a country of thinkers, but he needed a country of workers. And our education system since then has declined as he benevolently put money in. The more money they throw into education and the more government intervention into education, the dumber the population has become. It's just a fact, and it's just history. It's gotten to be obvious that they don't want people the multitudes to to succeed. They're collectivizing. They're trying to create a two-class neo-feudal society. And the education system is now an indoctrination system. It's not an education system, it's an indoctrination system. Do you realize that the intent of all of the social welfare programs were not to help the people, but to make the people dependent upon the benefits that they receive from the state, and that they will continue to make the people dependent and more people dependent and more people promoting the state? This is how the communism has been put into place. Illuminism, communism, whatever you want to call it. Totalitarianism, socialism. All of these measures incrementally being put in by consent. We're consenting to them. They want to deindustrialize America, so they cannot allow there to be too much growth. That's why we have all the regulations and all of these jobs going overseas and all of the... They're hacking at the most powerful, wealthy country on earth to bring us down to size. That is the stated goal of these elitists that are behind the scenes. They're the ones we should be fighting. They're the ones we should be exposing. But they own the media. They own the politicians. These elitists are experts in human behavior. They know just the right buttons to push to get our emotional reaction, whether it be sympathy, and they'll use the goodness of humanity to achieve their aims. We need to know these things. We need to know and understand why we're being manipulated this way, so that they can keep us divided. And while we're fighting over all of these issues, gun violence and poverty and all of these issues, behind the scenes, bad things are going on. People got to think. They're not thinking. They're just being given this information, and they're not looking as to what is behind it. Kimono, who benefits? What happens? Research the BCCI scandal. Research Bush and bin Laden's connection for 50 years before 9/11, the families. Research these things. It's all true. And what really bothers me the most is that all of the Democrats were all railing on Bush and oh my God, if you look back at history with Bush being attacked, all the people were all Democrats. I find that interesting because they do the same thing with Obama, but now they're all Republicans. So the people are divided, but they're doing the same thing. And the same thing is occurring. The same path to a new world order. Doesn't matter if it's Bush or if it's Clinton or if it's Obama. They're all doing the same thing. And when the Republicans rail against it, okay, then the Democrats rail against the same things. It's the same things. Bush spent more money than anyone before him. Until, of course, Obama. Supposed to be a conservative. He expanded a war. He took away the rights of the people with the Patriot Act. He went to war on a lie. Those evil Republicans. Well, what about the evil Democrats? With Obama. And people accepting his lies just because it accepts the ideology? What's the truth? The truth is, depending upon you're a Republican or a Democrat, you're an enslaved fool for putting these iconic figures in such high esteem. But the mass media has gotten us all programmed to feel this way. I mean, that we treat our leaders like rock stars and celebrities. I mean, look what happens on Black Friday. These people are insane. People have lost consciousness to reality. And they're not realizing how they're being enslaved. Individually, we can do what we can. We cannot participate in the system. We cannot put our money in these big banks, these criminal bankers. We can try not to do business with the evil companies like Monsanto and others. We can stay away from the pharmaceutical drugs. But what we also must do is let others know about these things and continue to get the truth out. For eventually a mountain of lies falls. Good quote here. Just reminded me. Behold a pale horse. One basic truth can be used as a foundation for a mountain of lies. And if we dig down deep enough into the mountain of lies and bring out that truth to set it on top of the mountain of lies, the entire mountain of lies will crumble under the weight of that one truth, and there is nothing more devastating to a structure of lies than the revelation of the truth upon which the structure of lies was built, because the shock waves of the revolution of the truth reverberate and continue to reverberate throughout the earth for generations to follow, awakening even those people who had no desire to be awakened to the truth. That is what we're dealing with. What we all have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is stop the division. Stop screaming every time something that is tweaked by this communist agitator in the White House and his cohorts, every time that there is an incident of violence, politicizing events to forward this agenda. We need to say, no, that's wrong. That is wrong. What this individual did was evil, but it's not indicative of everyone. They want to group everyone together. They're collectivists. They don't want to look at the fact that there's other factors in the issue. They want you to be distracted as they take away your rights and your liberties. And you want them to. You agree with them because it's right. That's right. That's a terrible thing the cops did. We should ban policemen. They want to ban everything else. But because it's all political, well, let's let them smoke pot. Let's let them get into porn. Let's protect the First Amendment there. But you can't talk against people. Otherwise, it's hate speech. It's, if you go against the agenda, it's a terrible thing. It's a deception. And yesterday I saw the movie Dr. Strangelove, and I know liberals will take it as a laughable thing because all the talk about commies and communist plot and fluoride is a communist plot. Well, you know something, interestingly enough? It is. And if you do some research and you learn something that about communism and fascism, illuminism, that all of these ideologies stem from Zionism as well. All of these ideologies stem from the secret societies, and they've used them as tools, Machiavellian tools, to divide and conquer. And they're doing that to us right here, with every news report about black teen being shot 16 times by a cop, and not reporting any of the good things, not reporting any of the good things about policing. You would make it like every cop is the worst thing on earth. And you know something? I know people in the truth community, oh, it's a police state. And, well, listen, it's partially a police state because the people have made it a police state by buying into all of this stuff. Now, I know police officers. I know state troopers. Constitutionalists completely. There are good people out there, but like all thug countries, all totalitarian dictatorships always hire criminals and thieves and corruptible people to put in high positions of power. That's another thing that you'd probably just not aware of. Other information that you really need to investigate, and I'm covering that in this article that I'll put up called The Black Network. Hopefully it'll be up by the time you're watching this video. And I'll go into it, and in huge detail. As I said, it's going to be probably about 8,000 or 10,000 words, so it's like 30, 40 pages, something like that. But it's important because it's all documented evidence and sourced information. Been working on it for about a month. And it goes into this. We have to understand how we're being manipulated so that we can say no. Just individually, like I said, individually, our individual actions, not to participate and not to be part of their scheme is the first step. The second step is continuing to research, to find your own truth. There is only one truth. Seek and you'll find it. Look out for my new article, The Black Network, on howardnema.com, and subscribe to Truth Talk News on YouTube. Until next time.